Alright folks, so this is Acid Roots. Welcome to part 13 of Let's Play Wario Blast. Now I recorded these back in August. I attempted to beat this game and was unable to. It kind of pissed me off, so I took a break from it. I'm eventually going to get more gameplay, but you still have to see up to the point where I got. Which I basically got to the final boss, and I got to the last segment of the final boss. So of course the final boss has multiple forms. But I got to the last bit of that, which you're going to see, but I have to essentially beat him. So depending upon how long that takes, I don't like doing it, but I might just have to, if I have the Let's Play curse, which basically means that you can't beat the game on camera, I'm just going to start filming again after I beat the boss. If you just know that. Honestly, me combating the boss that long, certain video games kind of make that sort of thing happen, but I don't know how this boss, I really did try back in August to beat the game, and I just was losing my composure because of how ornately tough it was. It's really happened to be the thing, so. But yeah, a lot of the bosses in these later stages are only vulnerable for like brief moments. Like, I think what the game is trying to say is really you can only hurt this boss when he parries his sword. So it's kind of the thing. But the final boss is even worse than this guy. So if you can't beat this guy, definitely get some practice in. So I'm just kind of underneath like the wholesome impression right now of I don't know. I've been playing this game for far too long. It's starting to piss me off almost. Surely the people who watched this back in 2015 are not still hanging around to the point where they're like, God, I've been waiting forever for this. It's like, well, you probably shouldn't hold your breath, and that's one of the main themes about Acid Roots. Is it's always, most of the time, just the reason why I don't have like such a pressing matter to beat these games is just because with video games, they always throw a surprise number in there that just is completely different from the tone. And like if the whole tone of the game is easy, minus like the last stage or the last boss or the last segment of the last boss, that always kind of throws me for a loop. And essentially what you have to do is you have to practice beating the game before you actually do it. But in some cases, I don't want to play the game twice. Because essentially you have to beat the final boss, and then after doing your practice file, beat him again. So it's kind of, if the boss pisses you off that badly, you don't want to do it a second time. But kind of the thing. There's only so many video games that don't have that last boss, last stage kind of viciousness about it, and even this game did it, so that's the reason why the delays behind this game. That's just the emphasis there, but it is a fun game. It's one of the better Bomberman games and one of the better Wario games. It was just a neat combination, and it kicked ass, but there's never any other game like this. They never really made like another fusion. Like, I think they've done like Mario and Sonic, but that was basically for the younger set, like those Olympic Games type things. I don't really know how I feel about like a Mario and Sonic crossover. I'm not the biggest fan of that just because they just don't match. They're not compatible. It doesn't make sense for like the characters. Like, it's just because really, you look at some of the tougher characters. Sonic has always had attitude, and Mario's real peppy and spry and that sort of stuff, just real positive, and Luigi's kind of a coward, and it just doesn't mess with like some of the other characters. Knuckles was the tough guy, Shadow was an asshole, so it doesn't really have like the whole atmosphere with Mario's set of characters. Mario is just generally a lot more bright and cheery, and Sonic kind of deals with more of like the ins and outs of just some of the more slicker kind of tones for like hero characters to have. Sonic was ahead of his time back in the early 90s, but this doesn't match with Mario. None of the characters, really. Even Wario is, he's an asshole, but he's happy about it. He's not ever mad. If he is mad, it's just because he doesn't have money or something, but he always has that kind of grin on his face, like he knows, like, yeah, I'm gonna get this money, or something like that, but, this is kind of. Yeah, this boss has gone on for forever now. It's kind of, I'm just like, we've been fighting this boss the entire time. But we are going to get through these stages, so the final boss is in this episode, so just understand that. Yeah, so we're basically going to almost beat the game just within these next 11 minutes, or 9, or not, yeah, I'm doing bad at math right now, 9 minutes, so. I'm running out of stuff to say. I mean, honestly, this is odd. You know, I've got stuff on my plate right now. I want to get started with the next games. I mean, I'm having fun with Mystic Quest, but I don't know what that game's going to throw at me either. I'm kind of curious as to what's going to happen there. And just like I was saying at the beginning of this episode, just with me not knowing about, yeah, with me not knowing the tone. I mean, really, an RPG is never really going to be that tough. It's just a question of being able to do it. It's just more of like navigation. So, but we'll see. I just wonder the LPs I was talking about when I was playing this back in 2015. That was so long ago. Like, why was I playing this game in 2015? What was I thinking back then? Why did I do it? I mean, it's like, really, homie? Since September of 2015? You know, that was a lifetime ago. That's the whole thing. I mean, YouTube monetization was different. Prince was still alive. Those type things, you know? Obama was still president in the United States. There were how many different shits going on back then. But it's actually kind of funny to sit there and have those kinds of projects. I mean, for people who have been playing a certain video game since, like, you know, for 5, 6, 7 years or something, you just have so many stories. Like, I mean, I think even I myself, if I were to watch, like, I mean, yeah, even I myself, if I were to watch, like, the ones I did 6 years ago, it just would be surprising. This makes me wonder how other people think about it. 'Cause, I mean, this game gets some decent hits. I mean, it's, you know, at least gets traffic, so I don't know. It just makes me wonder if people are holding out for this game. It's like, well, we're not going to watch anything else till you beat this game. It's like, I don't have an interest in it. I mean, I explained in this episode as to why that is, but it's just kind of, I think I still have on my description on YouTube in the About tab, I think I still said that I was going to beat like a bunch of Game Boy games, but I'm going to have to like erase that. I mean, that's been there since basically 2015. That's another thing that's been there that long, but I'm going to have to really change that just because I don't really have as much of an interest in Game Boy as I did back in 2015. I really did back in those days. Even in the beginning of 2015, I did. That's where I got that concept. It was mainly people like Kokoskia and that type stuff. I mean, he did this game several years ago, and it kind of had me thinking, like, you know, I wanted to do a bunch of those because, I mean, at least 6 years ago, you know, Game Boy games had not been done nearly as much, but this is kind of. So yeah, you definitely want to use that ram technique. I mean, you just have to hold the B button and it rams them, and that's the best way of beating these Warios or enemies, is because they can kick bombs, and they will do it, and they have full blast bombs, so it's just best is to do that sort of thing. Really, this is not, I mean, the enemies in these stages are not even, I mean, the thing you need to worry about is the final boss. That's the main, I can't think of the word for this. The main objective or target is the final boss, but this guy just kind of throws me for a loop, so don't even think I'm going to beat this guy in this episode, because it's not going to happen. Not gonna beat him in the next episode either. I've got at least 2 more episodes of footage that I recorded in August of me trying to knock out this guy. So, and like everyone else, I mean, the only time you can hurt him is when he's attacking, so you basically have to be in his line of fire, but he does shoot his laser beams if you get too close, and it's a bastard. So, that's what was pissing me off. If he didn't shoot those laser beams, it'd be a lot different, but they just made it extra vindictive. So, yeah, I keep getting caught in that. So, I really don't know if I'm ever going to beat this game. I would like to. I'm going to make a few more attempts, but if this next attempt that I'll do probably somewhere in November, if it does not turn out conducive, I'm going to take another lengthy break, and I'm just going to have to say I just don't know. It might be 2025 before I beat this stupid game, you know. But I just feel like it's just like hell. I do not get the point of why this game trolls me this badly. I used to like this game, you know. For me to look at it like that, it's like, you know, if I could beat this goddamn game when I was 12 years old 20 years ago, I don't understand why I can't now. It just doesn't make sense. So, but in time you'll see how much of a bastard this boss is. Just keep watching. That's all I can say. Just if you've been watching this since the beginning, I just would say just pull up a chair. You know, go ahead and hit that recline. Go ahead and pull that recline handle, and just kind of wait. That's all I have to say. Is just get ready, folks. You know, so. I seem to find myself in these kinds of monotonous situations, though. I mean, sometimes I like them, but other times they just have you pulling out your hair. So, and these missiles are kind of bastards, too, because they are seeking for you, and they will keep doing it. They don't, to my knowledge, they don't expire. You have to destroy them. There's just a lot of stuff to worry about in this stage. And as soon as you destroy one missile, he puts out another one. So, I could really stand to learn some techniques for how to knock out this guy, because this is not conducive. You know, truly is not. A bastard and a half, and all the whole audience is probably like, "What the fuck, man? I bought good popcorn for this. It ain't working." If you look carefully, you can see Wario at the top. You know, he's at the top of the screen in between 2 of the pink bomber men. But, I like that. It was a nice touch. That's why I like the Super Game Boy. If it wasn't for that, I probably wouldn't be able to do Game Boy games, so I'm definitely glad. I mean, yeah, you could get the Game Boy player for the GameCube, but, it's not my machine of choice, you know. That would probably, I mean, I really don't even know that much about the Game Boy Color anymore. I'm not too big a fan of that machine either. I mean, it's at least good because, you know, you at least have color in the game. But, I don't know. Yeah, I'm just talking too much. I mean, the main thing about it is there are some stellar games like this, but I think, you know, originally what I thought 6 years ago, I'm just kind of getting out of touch with how I feel about it now. Which I did, like several different Game Boy games, you know, back then, but it's just kind of, I don't know, the Super Nintendo is easier to do, and I'm really starting to like the PlayStation 1 a lot also. That is kind of the thing there, so I just kind of, I mean, I would like to do some of these. Like, I almost thought about picking up, like, Final Fantasy Adventure. That's another one that I saw Kukoskia do that looked like a lot of fun, but it's just kind of up in the air as far as that actually goes. But alright, so we're about done with this episode, and you know, basically next time when you see part 14, whenever that is, it's gonna be more of this fight. It's more August gameplay, so eventually I'll get to it, but we'll see. So subscribe for more fun. Thanks for watching. Have a wonderful night, and I'll see you in part 14. But like I said, it's gonna be just like this.